All right, welcome to yet another episode of Nerds with Badges. It is Friday, the 14th of February, and happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Um, I kind of forgot today was Valentine's Day, to be honest. I was actually waiting for the bus coming back from the movies, and this lady just randomly walked by, smiled at me, and said Happy Valentine's Day. And it was really nice. I mean, it was a simple gesture, but it was really cool. That was like the only person who said Valentine's Day to me. It's actually something I guess you don't think about after a while. I mean, I don't know really whether to be sad or just I don't know. Holidays nowadays, sometimes they just kind of come and just you don't even really realize it because you're just so busy. But I don't know. Valentine's Day hasn't really been very important in my life for a long time. But you know that's that's the way the ball rolls sometimes, or the cookie crumbles, or whatever. But yeah, it was a nice little gesture. It really made me smile. At least, I guess some people do notice me. uh, but I was waiting for the bus. Just stand there on third and like Fairfax, right across from the Grove, and I was just like really noticing all these cars going by, these automated like robot cars. I mean, it's just really something. You just see them so frequently now. Um, and I remember talking to Uber or Lyft driver last week, and we were talking about how what they were saying, how it's actually starting to affect their jobs. These are really interesting times that we're living in. I tell you, my job has laid people off, and there's actually a hiring freeze at my job right now. We lost a lot of money because of the things that you know a certain president, who shall remain nameless, brought about all these changes. So there's a hiring freeze right now. Um, yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's the world has really changed a lot. Just in the last couple of months, and I don't know. Um, I'm not really worried, but I mean, it is something that you have to think about. Job security and how everything is changing so fast. I mean, it feels like since 2020, the whole world has just been really, really, really crazy, and it's just like I part of me feels like I want to just am I having a dream and I'm just gonna wake up? It would really be so wonderful if that could happen. Uh, I mean, it hasn't all been bad. Some nice things have happened since 2020, but man, I tell you, if I could go back in time, I wish I could. So I was gonna do a review for Captain America. I talked about it. I did a little video on my phone. And my phone, I've got to get another phone. I barely have enough space on my phone to do anything these days. So that's gonna have to happen. Excuse me, probably next week. I bought this phone. Like maybe was it last year? Last year? No, it wasn't last year. It was 20. I think the end 2023. I went to Orlando, Florida, to visit my mother, which I always do for Halloween. And I went to Universal, and what happened was I had my phone in my pocket, and I had this hand sanitizer that my mother, I don't, I think yeah, my mother gave me. There's like these hand sanitizers, and they're like in these. I have some. Basically, this, which has the minute, it has like the hand sanitizer in it, but it was a real small package. So the somehow when I thought I closed it and put it back in my pocket, I really didn't, and so it like leaked in my pocket, and it got all over my. God, this AI background is really making me. I guess I shouldn't move that much. It's really weird. I'm just kind of like disappearing. But it leaked in my pocket and it just damaged my phone, so I had to get another phone. So this phone, which is a Motorola, $90 I paid for this thing, and I think it has like 64 gigs, 64, 32 gigs of storage, which is really not enough. You can put the micro SD card inside of it, but when I turn it sideways, it just disappears. You can put they make it where you have to use a damn paper clip to put the micro SD cards in it, and the apps still mostly stay on the phone, which is a pain because you're still using your internal storage, like for apps, like for your Kindle, for your music and stuff. So I really have to go on this phone. I had to sit down. Took a few extra days off of work for gave myself a little mini vacation. I actually was considering going out of town, but I'm just gonna chill, do some cleaning up, do my laundry, and just have some me time. But I gotta sit down and clear out my phone and just like pretty much delete all the apps up there. I don't know, maybe a factory reset wouldn't be a bad idea, but I need to get rid of everything up there that's not essential, because I have like literally no storage right now. Basically, maybe if I have 100 megabytes of storage left up there, and there's bloatware on the phone, and then there's like system that's being used in storage and you can't even access it. But I didn't mean to talk about all this other stuff. I guess I just had a lot of stuff on my mind. I had a really interesting dream too this morning about somebody that I've known for a while, actually, that I sort of have a crush on, and it was just really interesting because the dream just kind of like came out of nowhere. But we were just having a conversation on the phone, and I don't know. I was thinking about jelly donuts. I don't know. So now I have this like craving for jelly donuts. So I did stop at Jack in the Box when I was coming back from the theater, and I got me these churros. These churros are so good. They're Jack in the Box, and just like one of my coworkers said, you got to get them when they're fresh. But I'm still gonna have to I might have to look on Uber Eats or DoorDash or something later and order some Krispy Kreme, because I gotta get a jelly donut. I did have a jelly donut this morning, but it's specific. I guess like cherry, strawberry, but I don't know. It's almost like it was. I was thinking about. I feel like it was a donut or a biscuit. I'm not sure. Sometimes dreams are just kind of vague. But while I was having this conversation with my friend that I sort of have a crush on, that I've known for years, I don't know. I was thinking about that while I was talking to them, or maybe I was eating one in the dream. I don't know. But I did get up and write down what I could remember. Sometimes it's if I don't do that, I would just like mostly forget the dream. But usually when I dream, it's a sign that my creative juices are flowing. So that's a good thing. But it was really interesting to have a dream, about someone I haven't talked to in a minute. I don't know, maybe my subconscious is trying to tell me I need to work things out. So anyway, again, I went off the subject because I wanted to talk about Captain America, Brave New World. And I don't know, the title really seems kind of misleading. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. I've been hearing for a while that there were a lot of like reshoots, and reshoots typically happen. As a filmmaker, I know that sometimes the script isn't that you want to make changes because you're not happy with what you see when and sometimes the screenings don't go that well, And then, but I know with this movie there was some political stuff happening, and they had to change one of the characters because because of their Israel connections. But I gotta tell you, this is coming in clear or not. I've got a bunch of books on my Kindle. I will probably never catch up with my backlog of comics. But there's a Captain America comic. Now, I gotta talk about the elephant in the room. A lot of people are not happy with Sam Wilson being Captain America. Now, I've been reading comic books. I'm 50. I'm gonna be 56 in August, and I've been reading comic books probably since I was about 10, somewhere around there, 10, maybe 12. I think when I moved to New York, right around that time, maybe somewhere between 10 and 12, I really started getting into comic books. I remember someone showing me some comic books. I have very vague memories of a comic book where Thor and the Avengers, where they were fighting the Incredible Hulk. And the Hulk was just beating the crap out of everybody. Now it was, I don't know if this was Jack Kirby art. I feel like it was. It was a very old comic, a very old Avengers comic book, and Thor, the Incredible Hulk just beating the crap out of Thor. That's all I can really remember. I used to read comic books a lot when I was in elementary school. It helped me deal with bullies. It was an escape for me. So, in a big way, comic books helped to raise me to be the man that I am today. A sense of morality, a sense of honor, a lot of ideals that many people, probably younger generation particularly, might consider corny. Idealistic, try to be enthusiastic about stuff, try to see the good in everything. These are things that were instilled in me from comic books and cartoons. But of course, many of the cartoons, it was a different time, but I remember cartoons having morals. Like at the end of the cartoon there would be like a lesson or something. We don't really see that now. It's just interesting how things have changed. And Captain America's been, he was really a B type character, I think, until the movie. But I always thought he was an interesting character. I think my earliest fascination with Captain America that I can remember, I can think back to reading about the Cosmic Cube, and there was a lot of like supernatural stuff going on. Captain America himself, he's got the shield. He jumps around. He's acrobatic, and he's not all that spectacular compared to all the other superheroes. More flashy powers. And I still think it doesn't make any sense how he's able to throw the damn shield and it bounces all over the place like it does. But whatever, it's comic books. And so Captain America went through a time where he had to actually give up being Captain America because he came into conflict with the government over some things. And I thought that was interesting. He quit. He turned over the shield and the costume. Couldn't keep the name Captain America. He couldn't keep the shield or the costume. So created by the government, by the United States government. So they own it. So churros are getting cold. Steve Rogers was no longer Captain America. He became the Captain. And he was wearing this black and red and white costume. He had a shield too. I don't know if it was an indestructible shield or not. I don't really remember, but I know there was a bad guy. I think was it He used to be. I think he was USA Patriot or something, Super Patriot. But this was, I think this was John Walker, who I feel like, I don't know if he was he Flag Smasher. I gotta remember all this stuff. I was a kid, but Steve Rogers' Super Soldier Serum gives him peak human endurance. In the comic books, he's a little bit stronger than a regular human being. I would say probably about 2,000 pounds on a really good day. He can run fast, probably somewhere around, I would say, like maybe the early $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman time, which would have been probably 35 miles per hour. You know, maybe a little fast. That was fast back in the day. So it was really, so Steve Rogers, he's better, you know, better than a regular person, which back then, being able to run at 35, 40 miles per hour was a big deal. Being able to lift 2,000 pounds was a big deal. One thing about him, he also has no fatigue poisons. His body doesn't secrete fatigue poison, so he doesn't get tired like a regular person. And he goes into hibernation if he gets really cold. I got it. I'm gonna eat my chicken bowl. I got this from Jack in the Box. I love their teriyaki chicken bowls. Excuse me for a minute. I almost forgot my soda. Ugh. My Sprite or 7-Up or whatever it is. It's one or the other. If they don't have 7-Up, they just give you Sprite. So anyway, so he's very acrobatic. Now they've explained that his brain functions at a high capacity. He's able to actually look at a map and just instantly remember everything. So he has like a photographic memory, and it's kind of hard to explain how he's able to throw the damn shield around like he does. But it doesn't make sense. If the shield has got vibranium and adamantium in it, wouldn't that like pretty much kill all the momentum or inertia? I don't know. What else have I got in here? Oh, I got these banana, what do you call them? French toast. I almost forgot. I gotta put this stuff in the freezer. Probably eat it later. My grandmother used to say I eat like a bird. This is chocolate syrup that comes with the banana. I don't always eat like this. But you gotta treat yourself sometimes, you know. Try to be healthy, but every now and then you gotta cheat. You gotta have your cheat days. The problem is when you have too many of them. So Steve Rogers, gymnast, Olympic level strength and stamina, but he doesn't get tired, goes into hibernation in cold weather. This is the Captain America in the comic books. Now there's the Ultimate Comics version. The Ultimate Universe, Marvel Universe, is like it's like another universe, but it's very similar to the regular Marvel Universe, which is the 616 universe, they call it. So the Captain America in the Ultimates universe, he's like the Captain America that I was just telling you from 616, peak level, Olympic, doesn't get tired, freezes when he gets cold, hibernates. But the Ultimate Comics version of the Captain America is almost Spider-Man level strong, and he's got all the other stuff with the not getting tired, you know, going to hibernation when he gets cold. But he's just a lot stronger. That version of Captain America in the Ultimate Comics is the version that we get in the movies. So people get it. People get it confused sometimes, because in the comic books, Captain America is not. He's not as strong as he is in the movies. That's why I say they took the Ultimate version of Captain America. So he's stronger. and he's faster than the regular comic book Captain America. Uh, so that is more closer to the movie version, the ultimate version of Captain America. I mean, it took like they basically had to drop a bomb on him to take him down when they were fighting him, when he was fighting some other characters. Um, so anyway, I was seeing the Cosmic Cube storylines, and then he had to give up being Captain America for a while, and John Walker took over, which is like John Walker's like a fanatic American, like he's a real patriot, you know, loves the flag, loves the country and everything, but he's a fanatic, and he's kind of crazy. But I thought his character was interesting. He got his powers from somebody, I think they would call the power broker, and they were giving people superhuman strength. So John Walker is actually, just like the Captain America in the movies. So John Walker is stronger than when he was Captain America, he was stronger than Steve Rogers. They were able to give people superhuman strength, but I don't think he had the hibernation thing going. He just was really strong. I know he was just strong. I don't know about his stamina or anything like that, but he was damn near like Spider-Man level strong, if not stronger. I think they were around the 10-ton range. And John Walker had a partner, another Bucky type individual. It was a black guy, a brother. His name was, I think he called himself Battlestar. And they were like, new Captain America and Bucky. And something happened. I don't know. I know in the Disney Plus series, John Walker like killed somebody. He was real like, and then they had to Sam Wilson had to go in. Sam Wilson and Winter Soldier, and I think I don't know if Joaquin, the Falcon, the new Falcon helped out, but anyway, the Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier show is really good. If you're gonna watch the Captain America movie, you should definitely watch the Falcon and Winter Soldier on Disney Plus, because it really helps you to understand the characters more. So John Walker, he wasn't Captain America anymore. Steve Rogers came back, and I remember, I know a lot of people would talk about how can Captain America, Anthony Mackie, fight the Red Hulk. There was a time when Steve Rogers lost his powers, and he's still, Batman don't have no powers. People don't complain about that. There's a lot of superheroes that don't have real powers, But Steve Rogers actually lost the super soldier serum, and it was a classic story. I highly recommend. He got caught in some explosion, and he inhaled this like drug, ice I think it was, and it mixed with the super soldier serum, and it made him go crazy. And Daredevil, and had to fight him at one point. But anyway, at the end of the storyline, they ended up having to pump Steve's blood to get all the all the drugs out of his body. So the super soldier serum was taken out, was depleted from his blood. So he didn't have it. He didn't have his superhuman abilities for a while, but the super soldier serum had been in his body for so long, it basically replicated itself somehow, and he got his powers back. But he had to it was real interesting seeing him take on bad guys, and he didn't really know if he could do it. So yeah, you can be Captain America without powers, and I really wish that some of these people that are complaining about this movie and criticizing it would actually do some more research on the character. Is it just a skin color thing? I mean, really. So that was a really good storyline. And Winter Soldier entered the picture, and this is a character who was an assassin. He killed a lot of people over the years, even Wolverine's wife in the comics. So there was a bunch of encounters. Winter Soldier used to be Captain America's partner. back in like World War II. Bucky was he fell in the water with a plane, but I think in the movie it was a train. But they thought Bucky was dead. Captain America's sidekick was actually rescued by the Russians and brainwashed, and they gave him like a robot arm, and I guess in the comics, Bucky doesn't have the super soldier serum. He just had the robot arm. Now in the MCU, Bucky has the super soldier serum or some version of it that the Russians or the Nazis or whoever, when they brainwashed him, I guess it was the Russians, they somehow made their own version of the super soldier serum. They don't really, I only heard them actually say that in the MCU. I don't remember seeing it before, but I think they mentioned it in the movie, in the Captain America, the new one, that Bucky does have the serum or a version of the serum, which is, because I always thought, well, realistically speaking, the arm is really badass and you could do a lot of superhuman stuff with it, but some stuff doesn't make sense because you have a robot arm and it's attached to like flesh and bone and skin. It's just gonna it's not gonna be able to support. When I watch old episodes of The Bionic Woman and $6 Million Man, they have prosthetics that give them like superhuman strength and speed, but the physics, they don't really line up, because the limbs would shear. If you're trying to lift a car up or something, then this is not going to be able to support that. It's just going to rip off unless they reinforce the skin and bone and muscle. Which is, similar. Wolverine kind of makes sense in a way. If you take the bones and you put the metal over it, the bones, the metal is, but it is adamantium and it doesn't break or bend. Anyway, Wolverine is a whole nother discussion. But Bucky was basically like a psycho, because they had brainwashed him and made him do all these things. Like Captain America, I remember him holding the cosmic cube in his hand and saying, "Bucky, remember who you are," and it undid all the programming that Bucky had experienced. So Captain America used the cosmic cube, and I love those stories. I loved all those stories with him fighting the Red Skull and all the Jack Kirby stuff. Those were some classic stories. So Bucky, the Winter Soldier, became a good guy, and Civil War happened. And when Civil War happened, Captain America ended up getting shot. Steve Rogers. So Iron Man gave Bucky, was it? I can't remember his full name, but I know Buchanan is his last name, and that's where Bucky came from. Iron Man gives Bucky, the Winter Soldier, this letter that Steve Rogers left for him, and the letter was, "There's always somebody outside my door at the most inappropriate of times. I gotta close my damn door." So anyway, Iron Man gives Bucky this letter that Steve Rogers wrote. I guess in case something happened to him, he wanted Bucky to take over as Captain America. So Bucky became Captain America with the robot arm, which is why he was able to throw the shield the way that he can and catch it when Captain America throws it at him. Now, that was another thing about Sam Wilson's Captain America. Him being able to throw the shield like he does. Yeah, that doesn't really make any sense. Unless he's using Wakandan technology and he's wearing a suit then it makes, I guess it makes sense because the technology could amplify his senses to a degree, I guess, or the computerized technology could help him throwing it, aiming it, but he's just a regular guy who's throwing a damn shield around, making it bounce. But we gotta, a certain amount of suspension of disbelief is required for all this stuff. I mean, how many times Batman would have died, or should have died, fighting people way more powerful than him? But because he's Batman, and he always has a contingency plan, and he's got all those wonderful toys, he can survive anything, apparently. Even a spaceship falling from outer space into the atmosphere was just, nothing. He survived it because he's Batman. But when Anthony Mackie does it, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, yeah. Y'all know y'all ain't right. And you know who you are. So, Bucky became Captain America for a while, actually. I don't know how long it lasted, but I was reading Captain America pretty well, and I loved all the stories with him, with Winter Soldier, Captain America, his interactions with Natasha Romanoff and the Falcon. I even think that Bucky and Black Widow had some kind of romance going on for a minute. Can't remember the specifics of it. Yeah, he was Captain America for a long time. I don't know when it happened, but I think something happened where he had to basically be tried for all the things that he did as Winter Soldier, even though he was brainwashed. But of course, Steve Rogers came back to life and took up the mantle of Captain America again. Now, another Civil War happened. I don't think I read any of that. But something happened. I don't know exactly what. I don't even remember. Honestly, I don't think I read any of the books when Steve Rogers gave Sam Wilson. I don't know what storyline that was. I really don't. I think that Sam Wilson has only been Captain America for about 5, maybe 6 years in the comic books at most. Now, I myself said, this guy's got these wings. He can fly. He throws he's got the shield. I just started to look kind of whack. I do like the Falcon as a character. I remember back in the day when I used to read. There was a mini-series. I think it was just 4 issues. A 4-issue Falcon mini-series. There was some other series with him, but this particular 4-issue series, on one issue, I remember he was fighting a Sentinel. The Sentinels are always after the X-Men. The Sentinel actually identified Sam Wilson as a mutant. I think at one time, it made it pretty clear, actually, Marvel wanted to do Sam Wilson as a mutant, but who weren't they trying to mutanize at such that? I mean, it was like mutants were such a big thing. They were making everybody a mutant. Since Spider-Man might have been a mutant. I mean, yeah. Now they're unmutanting people. But anyway, Sam Wilson does actually have powers in the comics, unlike the MCU version. In the comics, I think that the Red Skull gave him these abilities. The Red Skull, for those that don't know, the Red Skull is a villain. You know, he's always Captain America's like Superman's got Lex Luthor, the Batman's got Joker, Wonder Woman's got Cheetah. So I guess, you know, Captain America's nemesis, his number one nemesis will always be the Red Skull. He's a crazy Nazi who has his own version of the super soldier serum that Captain America got, but messed his face up. That's why he looks like a damn skeleton, a red skeleton. So the Red Skull apparently did something to Sam Wilson and gave him a build, because Sam Wilson originally didn't have powers. I guess he just was a good fighter. I don't think he had the wings originally. I think he had like some kind of wing looking things under his arms, but he couldn't fly. But the power the power is pretty cool. It's animal specific telepathy. It's like Wonder Woman, but he can only affect birds. So Sam Wilson literally has an army on speed dial. He can summon. It used to be a lot of birds. Now it's like literally probably hundreds, thousands of birds, because Sam Wilson had Tony Stark put some chips in his brain or something that heightened his powers, made it even more stronger. Yeah, I know it's wild. What's even wilder is in the comics, Captain America's Sam Wilson's sidekick partner Joaquin is in the comics. He's a vampire bird hybrid. Yeah, comic books are so wild. Until I feel like this Jack Kirby's his spirit is still in the comics. Some of the stories are crazy, but I love it. I love when they go into the fantastical, which was one of the things that I liked about Captain America. But Captain America, to me, like, he's like Batman. He's like a guy with the morals. Might not have the flashiest abilities, but he's usually written very well, and usually has a really good supporting cast. And I like what he stands for. You know, like I said, he's, excuse me, some people might think Captain America is kind of corny, but he's really like an old guy with kind of like Superman. You know, he's an old guy, you know, who believes in the good in the world, and he wants to make a change, and he can actually make the change. He inspires other people because of what he's been through. And I think people look at people, you know, people, I guess it's just Sam Wilson can inspire people the same way, you know, not having powers, but maybe just using what he can to make a difference, and just, you know, inspiring people to be better. I feel like I just made a speech. So, yeah, in the comic books now, there are two Captain Americas, which is interesting. There's Steve Rogers Captain America, and there's Sam Wilson Captain America, and they both have their own separate comics. For a while, Captain America was an old man, and then he didn't have his powers. That seems to happen a lot to some characters. The writers always take their powers away. But like I said, there's two Captain Americas in the comics. Don't even get me started on how many Spider-Man there are. I can't keep track of all the Spider people, the Hulk people, the Flash people, the Super people. Lois Lane got powers now. I mean, the Green Lantern Corps. I mean, legacy characters, I guess you could say, because I think it's a good way to tell new stories with the old characters and inject it with something fresh and new to keep it, to keep it interesting. And you can read a Hulk comic book, but it could be about another version of the Hulk. So Sam Wilson being Captain America isn't exactly new to people that read comic books regularly. To everybody else, it's a new thing. And to a lot of people, it's DIE. It's woke. I mean, people just say that about anything that features a woman or anybody from a marginalized background. It's just automatically woke. Even if it's not woke, they just will say it's woke. And then some people won't even read it or watch it. It's because they just automatically, they just brainwashed that way to think like that. And I don't know, maybe in some cases it might be an agenda, but you can't just assume that everything that features somebody that doesn't look like you is woke. I mean, come on now. It's not like black superheroes haven't been around for a while. They have. So you gotta, get used to it. That's all I got to say. But I liked reading the adventures of Falcon and making him Captain America. I guess. I mean, I think it's interesting, and I wish that they would give him powers in the MCU. But I guess they're not gonna go that route, because I was pretty sure that that's what they were gonna do. So I'm gonna say now, for anybody that's watching, this is a spoiler review of the movie. He does not get the super soldier serum in the movie. But I'm gonna tell you one thing: the fight with him and the Red Hulk is something else. It didn't play out exactly how I thought it would play out, but Sam managed to hold his own, thanks in no small part to Wakandan ingenuity. Let me tell you. So really the story is all about, you gotta watch The Eternals. I know a lot of people trashed that movie. I know a lot of it had to do with the LGBT element. Yeah, I'm just gonna come out and say it. And the diversity. And the comic books, most of those characters are white. So I mean, they changed some of the characters in the movie. The whole Blade thing at the end credits was just stupid. I guess is that movie ever gonna happen? I hate when they do these end credit scenes and then it just leads to like nothing. Will we ever see the Black Knight? Why was he even in the Eternals anyway? I mean, I guess they used that movie to build up to introduce these characters. And it's been years since the Eternals came out. But in the Eternals, I'm gonna spoil the Eternals. If you haven't seen it, I'll let you know. The Eternals, at the end of the movie, there is a giant dead being called the Celestial in the water, in the Indian Ocean somewhere. And see, what happened was, since that happened, all the governments of the world want to go. I guess they have been doing research on the body of this alien being, and they figured out that there's stuff in the body, elements that we don't have here on the planet, that they can use. It's almost like finding a spaceship and reverse engineering it, which is what people believe happened in Roswell, and that's why we have a lot of the technology that we have now. They found a spaceship, they dissected some aliens, and they found out some stuff. That's why all of a sudden we got microwaves and electricity and all this other stuff so quickly, airplanes. So the governments of the world want that metal, the adamantium, which is in the celestial body of this giant dead being in the water. So in the movie Captain America, the president of the United States, who's Harrison Ford, is trying to have an agreement with the other nations so they can come together on this, getting this element. I'm trying to remember everything because there's a lot of stuff going on in the movie. but it wasn't as complex as it could have been. I thought it was interesting that they cast Harrison Ford. I think it definitely made more people take the movie seriously. Probably a lot of people might have gone to see it that would not have if he hadn't been in it. He does a good job as a president who's conflicted. He's definitely a morally gray character. I mean, I don't want to say he's evil, but he's definitely, you know, got. He's willing to do what it takes to keep the United States on top, and he's done some shady stuff over the years. He's sick and dealing with a character who was introduced in the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk movie. He's getting treatment from this villain um, who was in the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk movie. It's really good. You should definitely watch it if you haven't. So this villain has been treating Harrison Ford for his heart condition, but the treatment has been tainted so that one day Harrison Ford will transform into a big Hulk monster, which is what happens, at the end of the movie. Um, so the villain has been manipulating people. So there's a Isaiah Bradley, who was like one of the original people who got the super soldier serum. He accompanies Sam Wilson and Joaquin to a meeting at president. It's actually a speech that the president is doing, and the person that's been treating the villain, who's secretly treating General Ross or President Ross, Harrison Ford, for his ailment, has made it so that when a certain song plays or the cell phone will flash or something, the lights, or trigger something, some subliminal message, and make people wig out and do what he wants them to do. So Isaiah Bradley is at this meeting, this speech that the president's doing, and he goes crazy, starts trying to shoot the president, beating up people, and he ends up, Sam Wilson, and Joaquin were there, and they get into a big fight. So it's like it's Isaiah Bradley's trying to kill the president, and so are like some Secret Service people who done been brainwashed too, secretly. However, the guy did it. So, what I was really expecting, Sam Wilson to be really badly injured in his fight with the Hulk at the end, and that he would end up getting the serum to save his life, but that didn't happen. Joaquin did get messed up pretty badly, and I thought maybe they're gonna give it to him, but that didn't happen. So yeah, Joaquin didn't die. I was worried. They said, he got hurt pretty bad. They had to take on a bunch of jets because this guy that's been treating the president and treating Harrison Ford for his condition he's been manipulating stuff behind the scenes. He wants to create a war between the United States and Japan, and he almost succeeded. He had to brainwash people. Soldiers that were in jets start attacking the Japanese fleet, and Sam Wilson and Joaquin had to go out there and play interference and save everybody. Stop everybody from firing. They had to intervene to keep the jets, from escalating the situation. And Harrison Ford, he's struggling every time he's like, he gets stressed out. He starts, like about to change. I know there was one time when this big scene was going on with the Jets and Captain America and Falcon, the new Mexican Falcon, Joaquin. They had to while they were fighting with these the jets and trying to stop them from killing each other and starting a war. Harrison Ford is like on this boat, trying not to lose his temper, and his eyes are turning red. He's almost about to transform. I thought he was going to transform on the boat and just kill everybody, but that didn't happen. He didn't Hulk out until I think it was the last 15 minutes of the movie when he did Hulk out, and it was triggered by the bad guy broadcasting on some loudspeakers some secret conversations that they had about him going there and getting treatments, and then basically I guess he ended up betraying the guy, and that's why all this happened. So the president got help from someone and then just kind of like left them out to dry. So at the end of the movie, he ends up going to jail, or prison, the Raft, which is where they keep the superpowered villains. The Raft in DC. DC has a similar thing. I can't remember what they call it in DC Comics. So I don't know. I feel like it should have had some more. I don't know. I feel like it could have had some more action because there were some scenes that dragged. If I had to rate the movie, I would give it a 7.5. But I feel like there were some scenes that could have dragged on. There's some scenes that did drag on. Some scenes that seemed to drag on. But I was a little tired because I didn't really get a lot of sleep last night. So there's that. And the first Captain America movie was good. This movie was good. The second Captain America movie was great. The third Captain America movie, Civil War, was phenomenal. I mean, just like perfect. I mean, we get Spider-Man introduction and all the fighting, and the Captain America, Black Panther. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. The fight with Iron Man. So I think that the momentum, if they can, the next Captain America movie, it's got to be better than this one. I'm pretty sure it will be. And they build to the third movie, and by the time we get to the third movie, we will probably have a new Avengers team. I just hope it doesn't take us 6 years to get there, because it took them years to do this movie. I feel like they're playing catch up. We got Fantastic Four coming, and we have the Thunderbolts coming, and that's it. I think that's all the live action Marvel stuff that we're getting for 2025. DC has Superman, and I don't think that there's anything else live action coming out from DC this year. I can't think of anything else. Jeez, Batman is still like years off. Yeah, the Wonder Woman prequel series for Max is probably years off. Excuse me. We just got the Creature Commandos wrapped, which was pretty good. I mean, it was okay. I feel like the first few episodes were better. I feel like maybe it shouldn't have been as many episodes. Sometimes they'll have like a series and it'll be like maybe 22 episodes, and you just feel like they're just kind of like filler episodes, or just, I don't know, like they could have trimmed off some of those episodes, and the show would have been better for that. Yeah, DC, they got the Superman movie, and that's it, live action for this year. I know the Green Lantern thing I think they just started filming that, but that's still probably not coming until next year or 2027. I believe we're already 2 months into this year. It's incredible. I mean, we're already, this is the 14th. So we just have another, I mean, we're halfway through the month already. I do like superhero movies. I don't have superhero fatigue like people say there's just too many, and I'm like, how many superhero movies are you watching? I mean, like, they don't really come out that often from Marvel and DC. Don't put out these movies that frequently. I mean, I guess there was a time when we were getting like maybe 4 or 5 a year. I mean, is that a lot? I don't know. I mean, just bring them on. I've seen some bad superhero movies over the years. I mean, really. But Captain America was not bad. I could definitely see where that $375 million went. That's how much they spent. I mean, they had some pretty epic action scenes in there. And for a guy with no superpowers, I have respect for Captain America, and I guess I understand the direction that they're going. So even if Anthony Mackie never gets the serum, which I think he eventually will, I'd be interested to see where his character goes, because I can definitely say that there's been some character development with him. So I know people have been saying, well, he hasn't really gone through. We don't really know him. He hasn't. There's really has been no character development, but there has been from when he showed up in Captain America, Winter Soldier. The Falcon and Winter Soldier series, and all the other movies that he's been in, the Avengers movies. And this movie, there's definitely been character growth with him. I would like to see Marvel do some more stuff. Maybe if they took like the James Gunn route and did animated stuff that directly ties in with the live action stuff, because that's what James Gunn said. Everything is going to be connected. They should do some animated Captain America stuff between, I guess it's easier, faster to do that than the live action stuff, and cheaper, of course. Like the Spider-Man cartoon, the new Spider-Man cartoon, which directly references the stuff that happens in Civil War. I like that style of animation. It doesn't have to be like fancy CGI type, like the What If, which I loved. I really loved What If. I thought that was really well done. I guess it's all done, but there's still more stories that they could tell with What If. I mean, What If really, there was so many What If comic books from back in the day. I used to read What If series, and they can literally do anything within those stories and continue. But that style of animation takes years to do. So we may be at least 2 years away from seeing any more What Ifs if they do decide to do more. And X-Men is still probably a few years off, even with the simple animation, because I guess they have to film they want to shoot everything, the whole series, before they release it. I miss getting new episodes every Wednesday of X-Men. And with all the crazy controversy that happened, they're gonna have a new creative team and everything. I mean, I don't know who, if anyone from the original creative team is gonna be working on season 2 of X-Men 97. I guess we'll see. Will we get another season of Miss Marvel? I guess WandaVision is done. I know they're doing a Vision series though. I think a live action Young Avengers series could work. I mean, everything Doesn't have to be on the big screen. Oh, Daredevil is coming. That's gonna be pretty good. Hopefully, Luke Cage and Iron Fist and Jessica Jones. Hopefully they show up. Well, that's it for my Captain America review. I'm not gonna give away everything about the movie. I just wanted to give my full opinion. It's a thriller, has action in it. There's some things that they did which were very reminiscent of what happened in the other Captain America movies. But the dark tone, I think, I definitely think it was definitely darker than most of the Marvel stuff that I've seen. Was Actually, I was surprised it wasn't darker, but I guess if they'd gone too dark with it, like Punisher dark, they would, it would probably cut out how many people would actually be able to go see the movies. The kids want to go see it. Usually, when I go to the movies and I'm walking out, I'm looking around. I'm like wondering why there's no posters of the movies, and they told me they take all the posters down, but they had this statue, and I guess they knew people would go take pictures by it. It was a statue of Sam Wilson, Captain America, and I went over and took some pictures. I had to wait a few minutes because the family was up there taking pictures. But it was here you go. I think this will show up, and it was like life size of statue. So it was nice that they did that. And there were people that went right after I went and took some selfies by it. Someone went up. I had to wait for a family that was doing it, and then when I finished, another guy and his kid went up to take pictures, and they were Middle Eastern, which was interesting. There wasn't a lot of people in the theater, but it was 10:30. I think I went to the wrong show. Actually, I think I was trying to go to the 10 o'clock show, but I think the guy said on your left. I think he said on the left, and I went to the right, I think. But anyway, I sat through 30 minutes of trailers, and I was like, did I go in the wrong theater? Because I was like really like. Then when Marvel came up and the movie started, I was like, I breathed a sigh of relief because I didn't want to get up. I sat in C12, which is like, this is the screen, the movie screen, and this is like my seat basically. I was pretty close, but I noticed a lot of people don't like to sit in those seats, so that's why I typically try to sit close when I go, so I don't have to deal with people stepping over me every 5 minutes to go to the bathroom, or kids screaming, or somebody coughing behind me like every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes. All those things that you deal with. I mean, and there's always some people that are sitting there, that are not. You could tell they're not sitting in the right seats, but because there's nobody sitting in those seats, they just take them. But whatever. I went to the coffee shop like I always do, the Starbucks upstairs in the Grove at the Barnes and Noble's bookstore in the Grove. And when you go upstairs, they have a little Starbucks, and they have like a seating area you can sit at the table. And they used to have an outdoor patio for years. They had tables outside on a patio, and I don't know why they took that away, because it was really cool. And there's only one outlet that I know of there in the seating area, and it's like that table is always taken. I guess maybe when I go, because this is what I usually do. I usually go see a movie, and then I go into Starbucks and just chill on my computer for maybe an hour or two. And maybe I'll just go earlier to Starbucks and have my coffee, then go see the movie. Then I could actually get a good table. So that's it for now. I'm gonna finish my Lord of the Rings marathon. I've been doing a Lord of the Rings marathon. So I started with I started with the first Lord of the Rings movie, and I'm just gonna watch them all in the order that I watched them in when I originally saw it. It was Lord of the Rings. It was the Fellowship of the was it the Two Towers, Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and then it was the Battle of the Five. Was it Return of the King? That was it. And then they made the Hobbit. It's kind of like Star Wars. We get like the third movie first. They did it in that order really, because you can go back. Really, you should watch the Hobbit first, then the three Hobbit movies, and then the Lord of the Rings. And I still gotta finish watching the animated movie. I bought it months ago, and I think I've gotten maybe 15 or 20 minutes into it. I gotta finish it because it's actually pretty good. I gotta really, really narrow down my backlog of comics and movies and video games. I mean, I really have to. This is like ridiculous. I still haven't finished watching Cobra Kai. I still haven't finished watching what was it? The Octopus? What is it? The Squid Game. There's so much stuff I have to catch up on. I need to, because you can get overwhelmed if you're trying to catch up with stuff, and then new stuff is constantly coming out, and I gotta finish watching Umbrella Academy. And I tell you, maybe that's part of what I should work on my off days, just trying to catch up on some of the stuff that I'm behind. And I think at some point I might have to cut some stuff off, because I don't want to feel like, oh my god, I gotta catch up and watch all this show. I gotta catch up. Yeah, because that's a problem. But I am a pop culture aficionado. I love movies. I love video games. I love music. I love comics. And I'm into all this stuff. But as Barry White said, too much of anything is not good for anybody. He said it pretty much like that because his voice is really deep. So I'm gonna go right now. I did my review, and if anyone has any feedback, comments, or criticisms, you want to dialogue about the movie, I'm here. And I'm gonna start doing something. I want to start doing some giveaways actually with this platform. So I have some ideas, but I gotta figure out a creative way to do it. So I'm gonna ponder on that. I think it'd be a really good way to engage people, get them to interact, get some more views, some more clicks, some more likes. Because I notice people watch the videos, but they don't always like or comment or interact. And I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if it's because people just don't have accounts, or maybe they just aren't really don't know how to use social media. The thing is, people that do these types of videos like I'm doing now, when I watch videos, for example, I always try to like and subscribe, because I know that helps the person to do more videos, and also it helps them to monetize their content. So when you watch videos on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, it's important that you interact with the person, to show some support. It doesn't really take a lot to just click, like, subscribe, follow. These are important things. Let people know that somebody's watching and interact. That's good. Dialogue. Definitely trying to open the lines of communication here, with my respective communities of nerds, straight, LGBT, whatever. We all have the same. We all share common interests. So I would definitely love to hear back from people about my content. So please take a moment to give me some feedback, and I'll continue to do more with my videos and improve. And hopefully, I can do some videos where my hands and my body is not disappearing. This AI background is, I was trying to like find something Captain America themed that I could put in the background, but this thing only had like limited backgrounds. Man, I tell you, I know that there's got to be some more variety, but yeah, I gotta figure out what's going on with all this, because I look like I don't know, like that movie that Jim Carrey did where he was a vampire and he looked in the mirror and he just kind of it's just like kind of there and he wasn't there. It's a good movie. You haven't seen it? Once Bitten. Yeah, I think that was the first thing I ever saw Jim Carrey in. I didn't even find out that was him until like later. It's a really good movie. I love old classic movies, and I definitely got to do more videos where I talk more about all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff I think that's out there that's just like really like stuff that's just classically underrated. Like, that's not what I want to say. What I want to say is not this, painfully underrated. Anyway, I'll do more videos with about some of the older stuff. But for now, I'm out of here. But go see the movie. Go see Captain America. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Go support it, and maybe do your own reviews and talk about it. Make up your own mind. Don't go see it because you read, you heard bad things about it. It wasn't a bad movie. Had its good points. But like I said, I give it like a 7.5.